working on the screen. So AI doesn't fix chaos, it scales it. And I will try to explain you why, and of course I will try to explain you how to avoid it and how to implement and introduce AI in our organizations to avoid problems, to scale it safely and with confidence. I heard on last presentation, the gentleman said that your market is beyond digital transformation. So you are pretty familiar that digital transformation projects reveal all the weak spots in the organization. And you know, digital transformation with AI will do it with machine speed. That's why it's worth to have a good framework how to deal with AI in your organization before you will go to the customer. And yes, the first step is not provide a shiny, beautiful chatbot to your customers. There is another way for that. So, the first spoiler was we had a little poll here, and as you can see, the market in the world is the same as you in reality. So 77% financial institutions are already making some projects with generative AI. It doesn't mean that those projects are at scale. There are simple point implementations of generative AI in organizations. So the question is not should you use AI, the question is how to avoid problems scaling implementations of AI. In markets like Kenya, everything is fast. You have mobile-first approach, real-time payments, high expectation from your customers. So failures will be also fast. A control gap becomes an incident becomes a post on social media, and in one day you have a big problem with trust of your customers after implementing AI in the wrong way. So let's look at what breaks first and how to prevent it. Three things for sure. Ownership, because if you are using generative AI, and nowadays you are using agentic generative AI, you have many places in which data is input and output, and there is a big problem: who is responsible for those touch points? Who will be the owner? So the first thing which breaks, you don't know who is the owner of particular elements of the process which uses AI, and that's not the problem with artificial intelligence. The models are not wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm doing it for many years. The models are not wrong. The problem is in organization and how we use those models, for example, large language models. Second thing, auditability. You are working, unfortunately, in very regulated environments. So if you are not able to defend how it works, you will have problems with regulators, with your customers, internal problems, because you are not able to prove why artificial intelligence made something in the organization. And last thing, but from my perspective, the most important one is data control, because data control is everything. You know, artificial intelligence works on data. So if you are not controlling what is on input to the model, how the guardrails are built around the model, you will face a problem. If you cannot trace the data, you cannot defend the results. So here's the main point. AI will automate your strengths, but will also amplify your weaknesses. And let's get step back. So people use AI anyway. If you even don't implement that AI in your organization, I'm pretty sure, and those data, those figures that you see are from a report made in Europe, that 48% of people are already using daily generative AI. Even if you don't make any rules, put any policies in your organization. So it's quite problem if you don't have such things in organizations. And what people see, there is no clear guidance from the organization how generative AI should be used. And what is good, users also see that there is a problem with quality. But from my perspective, the person who is implementing such solutions, the quality is quite okay. But it's not a problem with quality. The problem is in other things. It's problem how we are using it, not the quality of today modern artificial intelligence. So where to start? In my opinion, you should start very, very internally, from the compliance. And it's not only about making those rules, putting policies inside the bank, how the AI should be used. You can use to be compliant AI. What I mean, nowadays, and we are in our company helping the banks to use artificial intelligence to analyze all the regulators, all the new law that you need to apply to your organization. And from my experience, it's usually months of work of your people to analyze the regulation. It's simple, and to analyze all the documents, all the processes that you have, and to apply the regulation. We have good experience with using AI here, and you can do it by your own. You don't need to have vendors for that nowadays. You need to have a little bit knowledge and some tech people, and you will be able to do it also. So you are able to introduce new regulation inside the organization, basically in days, not in months. If you are interested how to do that, we are here, so I can explain it to you, also from the technical side. So it's not all about making rules, it's about to use AI for your internal purposes. So you have regulatory complexity, you are using AI to analyze all the documents, all the regulations, and you have a very good structures output, the material on which you can introduce new regulation into your organization. Second level, if you are knowing what to do internally, very internally in the organization, so you have those rules, policies, and for example, you made some use cases with compliance, you should go to introduce AI into your business processes. It's still not to put AI in front of your customer. And it's not about making the decisions by AI. I think that it's not a moment in time that we should put even some decisions in the bank to artificial intelligence. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't use artificial intelligence. We should use agentic AI now, and it's a very good topic to invest in the bank, to use agentic AI, but not for making decisions. It's for giving a good insights, giving a good information for your employees, and your employees will decide what to do with them. The human will still decide, not AI. I will avoid such implementations in which the AI will make a decision for you. Nowadays, I don't know what will happen in months, because as you probably know, the pace of new changes, new things in artificial intelligence is every week we have something new. And last thing, we have, as I said, we can use the signals from AI, so some information, we can make decisions based on that. And nowadays, it's not a problem to teach our AI how to deal with our data better after some experimentation, after some time on production. And you don't need special hardware for that. If you are running such AI inside the organization, if you are running it in some external data center, you are able to teach your artificial intelligence how it should deal with your organization in particular. So, simple framework, signals, investigate, learn. Let's look how banks, it's based on our internal report. I will share the report with you. There are many useful information there. Where banks use AI today. And I think that banks are going with the idea that I'm sharing with you. Because as you can see, 52% of the bank, which we talked about during this report, making this report, they are using it in risk and credit. But it doesn't mean that the AI decides. AI, for example, analyzes mortgage loan application and do all hard manual work for the employee. But still, employee decides what to do with all the work which was produced by AI. Second thing is operations. So your internal business processes. I have a good example for that. For example, instead of giving a chatbot instantly to your customers, you can make simple module to help your employees. For example, if you have a system in which you see situation of your customer, you can build simple module which will suggest your employee what to do with the data, what to do next, what to do offer to the customer. Still, it's inside the bank. So you are fail-safe. It's not a problem if something will happen, it's because still you have human. You don't have customer in face of AI. And last thing, as you can see, product innovation. Main meaning the AI which is facing the customer. Still, banks are afraid of using AI, and it's a good signal from my perspective, because we should be afraid with AI facing the customer. Because you know, it's not deterministic technology. Each time you can have different answer, and it's not something which you want to have as a bank with the relation of your customer. Each time different answers for the customer. Let's go deeper. We are interested especially in small and medium enterprises, your customers, in this segment. And based on our report, what SMEs expect today, simple thing, real-time payments for your market is something normal, usual, for European market and not. So you have it. And self-service. So the people don't like to talk to people nowadays. So that's why they want to have self-service, but it's also good for you because you are saving the money, basically. But what banks offer today? For example, cash flow forecasting, only 9% of the banks in Europe offer such functionality. And this is a great use case for generative AI, because previously, of course, AI was used in such functionalities. Machine learning models, prediction models that you build, for example, inside your organization, and they were able to predict something, some cash flows in the future. But nowadays, you can introduce additionally generative AI, large language models, and you have immediately great functionality. You can tell not only what operation will happen or how the liquidity will look like, but you will tell the customer what he or she can do with this forecast. Second thing, customizable dashboards. So AI can close the gaps if it comes to the functions faced to the customer, but it should be introduced wisely, not making still decisions for the customer. So once again, the data for me very important framework, a very important thing, because I'm also responsible for security in our products. And now it's not a question about where we should deploy, for example, such artificial intelligence models. If it should be on-premise or cloud. I know that you are building inside Kenya your big cloud environment. So it's not the case, because you have now on the market very good open source models, very good open source framework that you can use to be in control of your data. As I mentioned at the beginning, what it means to control the data, you should explain what was done by the AI, and you should know who is responsible for such results. And AI isn't responsible. Human is always responsible. So to summarize, I think it's a very simple sequence, and it's not only our, as a vendor of software vendor for the banks, our experience, but also experience from the banks and from many reports. The sequence is simple. So start from the inside the organization. As I said, you need to have rules and policies if it comes to using AI. Next, use it internally in the organization. Help your employees to make decisions faster, not to analyze a lot of data. AI can do it very well. And last thing, if you know how to do those two levels, go to the customer and make some value for the customer by AI. I shared with you for a few examples in which areas, in our opinion, of course, you can have your own opinion to start with customer value. And to finish positively, I started with some negative things. So to finish positively, it's a good moment in time to start with artificial intelligence, because I said that 77% of the banks are using generative AI, and also you raise your hands and basically 80% of you said that you are using. I'm pretty sure that you are using in some points, not in general in all organizations. So you are in a good point in time, and we are in a good point in time because we know how to do that. So it's not, experiments now. You know how to do that. We can, of course, as software vendors who are dealing with AI, we can help you, and you can do that in a way that you won't have problems with regulators, with complaints from your customers. So thank you very much. If it was interesting, you can download this report. It's a lot of more data, how the banks are using AI. Currently, it was made 3 or 4 months ago. Of course, you can follow us on LinkedIn and visit our website, but we are here, so if you don't like computers, we are humans and we are here at the stand, so please visit us. I think, maybe I'm wrong, we can help you to establish a good process how to introduce AI and implement AI in your organization. Thank you very much, it was a pleasure, I hope for you also.